Hi, April here with Leah Creative. I am excited you're here, and today I want you to grab your junk and create along with me. We are going to be working in my Just Play journal, which is an altered composition notebook, and I have collected some junk this week, and I want to see what I can make use of in my journal. And let me know in the comments below, what do you love or hate about junk journaling? I would absolutely love to know. And if you enjoy this and would like to support my channel, please like and subscribe. It really does help a lot. So the first thing that we're doing is just gluing in some receipts. We're working off of a page that I've already gotten started. And this is how I like to do a lot of my junk journal pages. I don't always do them start to finish. I will kind of add junk throughout. A lot of times I will do it by month or by season. And so things that I want to collect, I will use in those pages. So we actually are going to do two pages today. I'm going to add some to this one, and then we're going to start a new page. And I absolutely love, being able to add in the bits and pieces. And that's one of the things that I love about junk journaling is that you're able to document some memories with your receipts in a very, laid back, casual way. You don't have to worry about making a perfect spread or making everything neat. Just kind of hodgepodging it around on the page is certainly something that is super fun to do. One of the other things that I love about junk journaling is just the process of cutting and gluing. It can be a very cathartic, therapeutic option. And so that's another thing to enjoy. And here I was just trying to decide which page to work on, and I found that some of my pages had come unglued. So I just gave them a quick glue, a little bit of journal surgery. And so I decided to go on this background. Now I pre-prepped this one. What I forgot was that I actually had used a gesso, which had a bit of texture. And so some things had a little bit of trouble sticking with my glue stick. Now I could have used a stronger adhesive or just remembered and put a little bit more glue and a little bit more pressure, but I do kind of fuss with it a bit trying to get things to stick down just because I had forgotten how I had prepped this surface. Other than that, it's just acrylic paint, probably acrylic craft paint like folk art. I use a mix of different acrylic paints, but I do have the more expensive ones and the cheaper ones, and I use both. It just kind of depends. And yeah, one of the other things that I really enjoy about junk journaling is that you can push your creativity by working with what you have. So this is a page from my new set of Ohuhu markers that I purchased for my daughter and I, and videos coming with those soon. But it had some really beautiful artwork, so I wanted to put that in here. Just because it is beautiful and to make use of it. It's probably just something that would get thrown away, tossed back in a drawer, forgotten about. So why not use this beautiful artwork and not only have it as something beautiful on the page, but you're kind of creating a memory of an item that you purchased. So yeah, definitely recommend using your supplies in that way, and using the junk and ephemera, kind of think outside of the box sometimes before you throw things away. Just take a look, see if there's any images or textures or anything that appeals to you or might be fun or challenging to use in the journal, because you can really push creativity here because you're working with random supplies. So you can just go for a completely random look, or you can have fun trying to create contrast or trying to create, something that's more complementary, which can be challenging when you're working with packaging, particularly because a lot of advertising colors can be very bright, very bold, meant to grab you and draw you in. And so, yeah, that can be a little bit of a challenge to work with those colors and create some spreads. So, you can literally just throw things on the page, or you can plan it out a little bit more. I usually work very intuitively. Sometimes I'll start out with an idea or a thought process. Usually I'll select like if I am trying to make something cohesive, I will select like one kind of main piece and then, complement or contrast that with the other things that I have. But with junk journaling pages, I try not to get too caught up in that. Yeah, my favorite part really is that it is something that you can do with absolutely no pressure. You are not creating a masterpiece. You do not have to have things perfectly aligned, perfectly straight, perfectly neat. And it's so fun to see what I can do when I am not working with any rules or, anything that's going to keep me kind of in a creative rut. So here I'm just putting in some receipts from Texas Art Supply, which is our local art supply store. And I do want to share a couple of things that I picked up. So I got these Perfect Pearls by Ranger. I've never used those. I'm excited. And then I found some Halloween scrapbooking paper because I've been very into the Summerween idea. So I grabbed these. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I'm not going to use them today, but stay tuned for future videos because I am sure that I will use them for something. I just love, love, love those patterns. And here I'm going in with some business cards from a local buffet that my son and I checked out, which was actually quite good for a Chinese buffet. I have had such bad luck finding one that fits the flavor profile that I like. It has been years, and this one, it hit for me. And then I do have some, what are these called? Packaging, I guess, from some charms that I bought in the jewelry section on clearance. I'm just putting that in because I am not a good jewelry maker. I am usually not allowed to buy jewelry making supplies by my own self because I don't do it. It's not really my thing, but every once in a while I just decide I'm going to do it. And I actually did finally make the earrings, not those, but some earrings and a necklace recently. So that's made me think that maybe just maybe I can make jewelry, but mostly it's because my daughter is into jewelry making and I want to teach her what little I know. So I just cut these bits and pieces out, and some of these I will use here, other bits I will keep for later, and I think I did end up throwing some of it away at the end. Now, one of the things that I don't like about junk journaling is when you have pieces that are too thick. I do want my junk journal to be thick, but I don't like gluing in thick pieces. Just it takes a lot of glue. It's just one of those things that just mildly annoys me. So a tip for that is you can peel the backing off, or you can do what I am going to do here in a bit and staple in things as well. This is just a piece of ephemera that I made. I just used some painted paper and then went in and drew with my Sharpie markers and cut those out. And then I'm still trying to use up these butterflies. Oh my goodness, these butterflies. I have so many of them, and I just feel like I get sick of looking at them because there's just so many. But I do think it adds a nice little emphasis to the page. Now, the fortune cookies. Got to love the fortune cookies, absolutely. My son's fortune was, of course, something completely normal, whereas mine was unhinged as always and basically told me to get mental health help. So yeah, gotta love that. One of my favorites I ever got was one that said, "Don't feed the trolls your dreams." Unhinged. And then I'm actually making use of the actual wrapper from this. Now, there's a reason behind that. I said, these are not the best fortune cookies. And I actually do like fortune cookies, but I said, these are not good. And he's like, they're all the same, Mom. It's all the same manufacturer. They all taste the same. I'm like, yeah, maybe to you, but I am a fortune cookie connoisseur, which he found quite funny. And so I wanted to put this in here, the branding particularly, so that if I remember about this conversation, and and we get new fortune cookies, I'll save that and be like, see, not the same brand. They do taste different. So I just stuck that in, add documents a fun memory, and it's a neat way to use up something that otherwise would have gone in the trash. Now, this little guy, I have no idea what he is an advertisement for, but he came out of a magazine and he just cracks me up. So I had to put that in and I stuck it there on the receipt. And finally, getting the butterfly in play here. Butterflies are a great way to fill up some space, and the colors worked perfectly there. Now I'm going over to my tiny pieces of ephemera, which I do have organized in these little trays that I bought from the Dollar Tree. And I have little labels on the front, and I will just kind of flip through those and see what might work. I had this little piece that said June, and I remembered it is actually June. So I am sticking that in there. I mean, is it necessary? Do I know this is June? Well, I mean, it's old ephemera from June or June-ish, and then some handmade ephemera goes in. Some of the other things that bother me about junk journaling isn't anything about junk journaling, but it's the junk journal police who want to tell you what a junk journal is or isn't. And I understand. I think it's important to have names for things and have categories and have standards. But at the same time, I think that if you are making use of junk in any way, you can call it a junk journal page. You can call it a junk journal spread. I don't really, but I do get where people coming from. Some people do junk journaling and they make everything from trash. Like the whole journal is made from junk. So there's different like tiers, I guess you would think, and whichever one you fall into, that's absolutely fine. Mine, this journal, it's not a 100% junk journal. There are some pages in here that are art pages. There are others that are prompt-based pages, just playing, experimenting. But I do usually have, a couple of different junk journal pages. So does that make it a junk journal? I don't know. I don't care. I just do what I like. And that is what I want you to do. Follow your heart, experiment, try things out, and really just make junk journaling whatever you want it to be. Don't get caught up in the rules or the guidelines or making your spread look like somebody else's. Here I'm using some of my ephemera. I wanted to use up that stamped pumpkin because he has been around since October, and I needed to use it. Now I went in with some tissue paper here, which I love using, but I got a little rough with the glue, and so it kind of tore and smudged up, and that made me a little bit sad. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. And I just picked some of my ephemera that was kind of had the same tones as what was in that original image, just to make it a little bit cohesive, just because that's what I like to do. Then I threw in some contrast with the purple and black flower stem that I put in. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to use this to cover up that, so I actually just ended up sticking it there without gluing it. And I might glue it in, or I might decide I don't want it there. But yeah, here we have it. Our page is complete for now. I may add more to it. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day and create something awesome. Bye.